I'm back with more Nintendo Switch eShop deals. Lots of super fun, super cheap games, as well as some more picks for Halloween spooky fun. Let's get to it. Toodee and Topdee is a 2D puzzle platformer that does things radically different from other games of the genre. So you can still move and jump just like most 2D platformers, but with the press of a button, the level changes to a top-down perspective, and this can radically change things, such like the character's movement when jumping in the air. In this game, you will need to master both perspectives in order to solve the puzzles, as well as to defeat bosses. It's a pretty unique game, a nice different take on the puzzle platforming genre. There's co-op play, in addition to single player, as well as the ability to adjust the game's rules, if you find it just a little too tough for ya. I say check this one out at $1.99 via the latest sale. I hear this one is a hidden gem on the Switch. Boomerang Fu is an arena party multiplayer game where you play as one of your favorite foods and attempt to beat the snot out of your opponents with boomerangs. Yeah, it sounds absolutely ridiculous, but trust me, this is a lot of fun. You'll need to use a variety of power-ups as well as the environments to your advantage to become the ultimate boomerang champion. Featuring up to 6-player local multiplayer, 30 arenas to do battle in, loads of power-ups to use, as well as a ton of unlockables to obtain to customize your food. This is a fun party game that will keep you entertained for much longer than you think. Trust me, this one is really good and a steal at just $1.99. Railbound is a cozy puzzle game that has you solving puzzles by rearranging and adjusting connections to safely connect parts of a locomotive together. You need to be careful because wrong choices can lead into accidents, such as parts of the train running into each other. This is a neat puzzle game that has a nice difficulty curve to the puzzles as you progress, and there's over 150 puzzles to solve. It's just $1.99 on the eShop at the lowest price it's ever been. Jenny LeClue Detectivu is an adventure game that is reminiscent of the older style point-and-click adventure games. In this game you play as Jenny LeClue, who has a knack for solving mysteries. One day, the dean of the school is murdered, and her mom is considered to be the prime suspect. She must try to clear her mom's name, while also trying to solve the mystery behind the dean's murder. This is actually a really nice game. It's got some nice production values going for it. It looks great with the animation, and everyone is fully voiced too. The story and characters are interesting enough, and unlike a lot of other mystery games, this is one that's good for just about all ages. I think for $1.99, it's worth picking up. Pix the Cat is an arcade-style game inspired by various maze games, like Pac-Man, and to a degree, Sega's own Choo Choo Rocket game from the Dreamcast. In this game, your goal is to collect all the ducklings and try to guide them to the safe zone. You gotta avoid enemies, obstacles, as well as avoid crossing into your own ducklings that you're collecting. It's a game that's simple to understand, but trust me, it gets real challenging very quickly. All the visual styles look great on the OLED screen if you got one, and it's a fast and thrilling game. Featuring 4 game modes, as well as multiplayer with up to 4 players through local play, this is a nice arcade-style gem that is worth your time. It's $1.99 on the eShop until October 23rd. A few weeks back, I put out a video on some fun games that could be had on Switch for less than $5. Basically, a list I dubbed Forever Cheap Games or Always Cheap Games. Well, a few games from that very list are even cheaper now via the latest sale. Donut Dodo is an arcade-style game that has you collecting all the donuts from the crazed Donut Dodo and his minions. Inspired by 80s classics, it looks like a game straight from that era. It's challenging, but fun, and one of the things I really like about this game is the variety to each board. Each board has its own special gimmick. If you love arcade stuff, make sure to check this one out. It's on sale right now for just $2.49. Murtop is from the same publisher of Donut Dodo, and it's an arcade-style game too. This time the gameplay is inspired by Dig Dug, as well as inspired by the early Bomberman games. You play as a rabbit who must save the world and his carrots from the evil invasion of moles, and you do so by literally pooping out bombs. Be careful though, as your poop bombs can literally take you out as well. It's a fun, frantic game, another good one for those who love the arcade stuffs. It's on sale for $2.49 as well. Class Force is an 8-bit style run-and-gun game that takes inspiration from the Contra games as well as the Mega Man games, mainly its graphic style and stage design. Found this one to be fun and enjoyable for what it is. There's some nice power-ups to use, and the stages had plenty of variety to them, especially the ones focused on platforming. It's only $1.99 via the latest sale. Avenging Spirit is an arcade game from Jellico that's a bit different from your typical action platformer. See, in this game, the protagonist is, well, he's dead. And the only way he can save his girlfriend is to possess the bodies of others. That's right, in this game, you'll need to possess the enemies and use their powers and abilities to save the day. If you like arcade stuffs, it's worth a pickup at $2.99. It's probably a good game too for Halloween, since it's ghost related. Phantom Breaker Omnia is the latest version of an arcade-style fighting game that came out originally on the Xbox 360 and for the arcades some years ago. This latest version features 20 characters to choose from, as well as the ability to choose between 3 different fighting styles for each character for added depth. And this version even has online multiplayer. For $5, it's worth picking up for some fighting game fun on the Switch on the very cheap. Inspired by games like Hollow Knight and other action Metroidvanias, Blue Fire attempts to take those gameplay elements and puts them in an entirely 3D setting. See, unlike most Metroidvanias, this is not a 2D action platformer, it's a 3D one. As featured in my top 3D platformers for the Switch video, Blue Fire is a game that is really for those who love the platforming genre and are looking to challenge their skill set. This game will not only test your combat abilities, but your platforming skills as well, and it rewards players who think outside of the box, especially for those who aim to get all these secrets found within. If you're a Setsa player and are looking for your next challenge, then make sure to pick this one up at just $4.99 via the latest sale. You'll be glad you did, as it's one of Switch's best hidden gems. Slime Rancher Plortable Edition has you capturing and raising slimes on your slime farm. It's different from other farm games, or games of the like, as you do this entirely in a first-person perspective. You use a gun to perform most actions, like sucking up and dispensing your slimes, feeding them, and more. It's a bit quirky, but I do like it, as it stands out from other games in the genre. If you're looking for a nice, chill, cozy game, then you could do no wrong by getting this one on the Switch. It's $9.99 until October 27th. 2 really good visual novel adventure games are on sale this week for brand new low prices. AI, the SOMNIUM Files, has you playing as a detective who, with his AI assistant, is able to adjust their field of view. They have the ability to see through objects, zoom in like a magnifying glass, or even do things such as see with infrared vision. The core gameplay takes place across 2 sections. One has you investigating Tokyo, and the other one has you exploring the Somnia, a dream world. This game got rave reviews for its story and gameplay, and if you like other similar Spike Chunsoft adventure games, like for example, the Zero Escape series, then you'll absolutely love this one. It's just $5.99 until October 21st. The sequel, AI the SOMNIUM Files, nirvanA Initiative, explores the events set 6 years after the first game. The detective and the AI from the first game must work together to solve the half-body serial killings, a cold case from years prior. This one received just as good reviews, praises for its story, characters, and gameplay, and for those who like mystery detective games, just like the first game, this is another one you must check out. This is on sale for a brand new low price of $17.99 via the latest eShop sale. It's time for more Halloween horror fun. One game for the season that gets a hearty recommend from me is Layers of Fear Legacy. It's a psychological horror game about a painter who has gone mad and is striving to create what at least he thinks is going to be his most important work yet. The game itself is a bit insane. It's got some nice spooks and scares, and it gets more messed up the further you go in the story. It's one of Switch's best horror-themed games, and it's totally worth checking out for just $2.99. Layers of Fear 2 is also worth checking out if you like psychological horror games, especially since this is just less than $5 on the eShop. In this one, you play as an actor this time around on a ship that he has to explore, and at certain points, he'll come across tasks he'll have to complete, or not complete, which are told to him by a mysterious director who cannot be seen. Things will change during the course of the game, as well as affect the game's ending based on your actions and choices during the story. Blair Witch is a creepy survival horror game set 2 years after the events of the first movie. You play as a police officer as he searches for a missing boy in the Black Hills forest. Aided by his dog and whatever items he can find, he must track down the missing boy while also surviving against whatever is lurking in the woods. It's a game that kinda got nailed a bit in reviews when it first came out, but I think if you really like psychological horror stuff, then for $6, I think it's worth checking out, at least for a singular playthrough. From the same makers of the Layers of Fears games is Observer, another psychological horror game, this time with some cyberpunk vibes thrown in. In this game you play as a detective who can hack into people's brains, as well as scan environments for electronic devices and for biological evidence. During the course of the story, his son ends up missing, and he aims to track them down, as well as attempt to solve the mystery of why he disappeared in the first place. Check it out, it's just $4.49 via the latest eShop sale. Speaking of the detective stuffs, the Master Sleuth bundle features 3 mystery detective games that involve elements of murder, the supernatural, H.P. Lovecraft story elements, and yes, even horror to a degree. Both Sherlock Holmes, Crimes and Punishments, and Sherlock Holmes, The Devil's Daughter have you playing as the famous detective, solving cases that involve missing persons, thefts, deaths, and even things that just cannot be explained at all. Frogwares, the developer, has worked on quite a few of these Sherlock Holmes games, and they have been consistent in quality, especially with the Switch ports. They are quite good and impressive, all things considered. The third game in the bundle, The Sinking City, is a mystery game as well, this time set in an open world, inspired by H.P. Lovecraft's writings. You need to explore, investigate, and fight off creatures to find the truth behind it all. One of the neat things about this game is a mechanic which they have dubbed as the Open Investigation System. Basically, each case can be solved in a number of ways and can influence several different endings for the player. And there you go, that's the latest round of eShop deals. Let me know down below in the comments if you plan on picking up anything from the sale, and let me know if you have any games you plan on playing for Halloween. But anyway, that's all from me today. Thank you so much for watching and subscribing. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll catch you on the next video.